Hey everyone, Andrew from FindYourFuels.com back again to be of help to you today. Today we're talking about pausing the resume. How do I express my love for resumes? Oh yeah, it doesn't exist. And you know what? For most HR people out there that are honest, they hate them too. Now there are those unique individuals that, it seems to me they might even collect resumes because they just love them. And this one's creative and this one used a different font and bold and italicized. Look at how this is laid out. Yeah, wonderful. Most of us don't care. It's a piece of paper. And if you think a piece of paper can encompass a good impression of you, what's wrong with you? You're an entire person. There's so much uniqueness about you, and there's so many details about what made that past experience meaningful and why you put that on paper. Don't waste my time with this stupid piece of paper. And what on earth are 500 of you doing shelling me? You're making my life worse. Now I have to go through this mess. You know what? I'll just do what everyone else is doing. Submit it online. We'll have a word search that'll look for key phrases and keywords, and if yours doesn't cut it, it'll automatically delete you. The system has gotten so bad that we've created other systems just to get rid of the bad system. You see why I love resumes so much, or not so much? Resumes, the best way I've ever heard it described, is a love letter to yourself. And truthfully, as we go through resume building training, we're using wonderful sheets of paper. I can't tell you how much I want to throw up in my mouth if it's embossed or if it's on parchment. It's just like, how important do you think you are? I just need this information conveyed. And it's all hand-signed and calligraphy, and it's just like, dude, get over yourself. If you're putting that much effort into just this sheet of paper, which really shouldn't tell me that much about you anyways, the conversation's what I'm looking for. If you're putting all your effort in here, I'm kind of concerned, and I think a lot of other people are as well, because what's the point of the resume? The point of the resume is to get you in front of someone to have a conversation. But also, on the bad side, the point of the resume is to try to give them a sneak preview. And the method, there are cultures out there that, they're very interesting to us because we read left to right, they read right to left. And the reason, if you talk to them, that they write right to left is because they have this understanding that to put it down in words, it's actually making it worse. As we all kind of face true north in our mind's eye, the sun kind of rises in the east and sets in the west. It goes right to left. And of course, the further that day goes along, the less that light diminishes. They put that in their writing. They write right to left to remind themselves, just because it's written down, it's already worse than me telling it to you. And even if it was an audio recording, that same culture would say it's worse than being face-to-face, because nothing beats face-to-face. So if the point of the resume is to get a face-to-face interview, you're basically choosing the worst possible communication method to get you there, because your resume will be your first impression. But crazy idea, the person who's interviewing you might just know another human being. And should you be able to meet that other human being and gain relationship with them, and then have that human being talk to the person who's going to be interviewing you to say, you know what, they can submit a resume if you really need them to, but I think you should talk with this person. Oh my gosh, the point of the resume was to get you a conversation with a person who's going to be hiring, and a live human being who they know and trust just said, I think you should listen to them. Guess what? You just jumped over the worst possible road you could take to get to that conversation. Because if my first impression is the lowest form of communicating you, that starts us off on a pretty bad foot. If you're going to force me to read something that can never tell me what I need to know about you, unless you're writing some love letter to yourself, even if you describe yourself beautifully on paper, it's still terrible. I can tell you face-to-face, or at least over the internet, that I'm a knowledge salesman. If your idea needs a little bit of convincing for your customers to make that decision, that's what I do. Now, if I actually wrote that down without the conviction in my eyes, the confidence in my heart being portrayed through my vocal cords, and it was just black and white, it would sound pretty asinine. Who the heck do you think you are, dude? And especially if I answer with all the typical resume questions of, maximizing and business and hard worker and all these wonderful words I've been trained to put on that I know you're doing a keyword search for. You remind us of the system we hate. Don't remind us of the system we hate. Remind us of a person. If you so my basic encouragement, have a basic resume ready. Don't put that much effort into it because it is the least effective method of communication. So I'm almost more impressed that you care less about the resume and more about the first impression. I would rather someone introduce you to me and your resume sucks, but because of the interview and the recommendation, now we're off on a good foot. Does that make sense? I'm pretty sure it does. Of course, if you have any questions from this video, leave them below so we can answer them in future videos. Subscribe, that lets us know we're doing a good job and you're grateful for our input. We're of course here to help. I'm Andrew Reynolds, signing off till next time. We'll see you soon.